You could be doing night shift security in a nightclub because there's a lot of Beckys out there thinking that, they can talk crap to male security guards, and the male security guard can't do nothing and won't do nothing. One, they don't want to lose their job. Two, they don't want to end up on a TikTok, viral video. But if you have a Stacy, a Veronica on your team, she'll take care of Becky easily. You know that. Hey guys, welcome to Advanced Security, your source for security guard pro tip and content. It's your boy, Jay Gutierrez. Today we have a question and I have an answer, because that's how podcasting works, right? You have a question, you give an answer, and then you make yourself a banger, and you make a good video for people. Now, the following question has been asked by almost everybody in every field in a different way for different reasons. And this question is about women. These beautiful creatures, these lovely creatures, they're like roses. They have thorns, they smell great, they look great, right? But they can sting you. Should women be security guards? That's the question. Let the video begin. I asked this question because it's very important for us to, be realistic with what we do as security. We have to be realistic about the dangers of the job. We have to be realistic about expectations. And we have to be strategic, tactical, and practical when we're working in security. You don't want the wrong person doing the wrong job, do you? In general, I want to say most women should not be doing security, because most women do not fit the mold for most jobs that were created for men to begin with, right? And it has been proven many times in many different situations. And when it comes to security, I want to say 8 times out of 10, 80% of the guards out there are not going to be facing a dangerous situation. They're not going to get shot. They're not going to get beat up. 80% of y'all. Or better yet, 80% of your job is going to be conflict-free. That's even better, right? Of course, these are just my own personal opinion. But things can happen. And the social dynamics change with females. They have advantages and disadvantages. And we have to be realistic as security when it comes to male and female social dynamics and male and female biology. Why is that? Because you can get hurt. Many males die already fighting one guy as a security guard. That's just one guy on one guy. Think about boxing for a second. You have 2 specimens, Boxer A and Boxer B. They train months throughout the years to fight one person, possibly for 10 minutes to 20 minutes. The average person barely has 30 seconds in them to fight with, right? A stamina to go pushing, shoving, punching, kicking, grabbing somebody. Boom, slamming them. The average person barely has 30 seconds. Now, when you have a man and a woman situation, male versus female, most of the time, though there are exceptions to every rule, the guy has all the advantages. Most of the time. Now, there are exceptions to the rules. There are women who've been lifting since they were kids and got into MMA, got into shooting, got into all sorts of combative martial arts, samurai stuff, right? That makes them perfect for the job. But most women don't do that stuff. Neither do most males. But like I said, if you just take an average male and an average female, most of the time, the man has the advantage. You put them into a room, see what happens kind of situation, right? With that being the standard, I want to say the standard is most women should not be doing security. Now, there are exceptions to the rules, and there's training out there. There's force multipliers that can change things. Let's be honest. Practical, tactical, strategical. That's how we have to be. We're doing security here, right? Now, most unarmed security should not be done by women. However, you have to practice proper hiring. You have to know the who, what, where, when, how, and why you want to hire this person. Certain roles are great for women. They're better for women than they are for men. And when you come to this realization, your hiring practice, your curriculum, your training, the way you train people becomes that much better because you understand the limitations, and by understanding limitations, you can become almost limitless because you're creative now. You're thinking. You have a standard. Boom, boom, boom. How do you break this rule of sexism? And how can you hire women into security? Well, there's particular situations, posts where you would want a woman, maybe not as your main security force, but as an amplifier, as a person that could de-escalate or escalate when have to. Let me give you some examples of the social dynamics of women and men. Let's talk about civilian life. You have alpha male and beta Bob. Alpha male is 6 feet tall, six-pack abs, athletic, good-looking chat, right? You have beta Bob. Beta Bob looks like me. Little gordito, bald, right? And then 9 times out of 10, he'll get rocked by alpha male, right? But not today, my friend. Not today, homie. Because alpha male's hanging out with his feminine, beautiful girlfriend. Alpha male and beta Bob about to throw down, about to punch and kick each other and slam, and for whatever reason, sometimes we act like a gorillas. I don't know. We just fight, right? And she gets in between them. She gets in between alpha and beta. And alpha's like, I gotta now calculate, not just fighting beta, but how do I get through this person? The woman I'm with, or the woman I'm supposed to protect, or the woman I love. Do I push her aggressively? Do I go around her? Like, what do I do? And while Alpha's calculating the social dynamics and this battlefield scenario situation, Beta says, here's my chance. Boop! In the jaw. Alpha's dropped. Alpha's down for the count. It's because she was there. She was in between the two combatants. She thought she was doing the right thing by stopping Alpha from a fight, but she didn't understand the fight already started. They just haven't made contact with each other yet, physical contact. But the fight was going to happen regardless of her being there or not. You're going to have these two running bulls running in, ramming each other. She just deflated Alpha. She just dramatically decreased his chances of survival and winning this bout. Like I said, 9 times out of 10, Alpha would have beat Beta. Today was Beta's day. Beta Bob's day. The average man took down the alpha guy. And that's just one example. Let me talk to you about a CEO that once gave me class. She was a veteran as far as being a correctional officer. She was skilled. She mastered her craft. She was this black lady. She was like 5'3", I want to say about 160 pounds. She was very nice, very smart. She leaned on her femininity. She knew how to get the job done as a CEO. She would share with us in school during the correctional class. She would share with us 2 particular stories that I could still remember to this day, 15 years later. And it was about her limitations as a woman, and her understanding it, and the superpowers it gave her when she leaned on it, her femininity, and learned how to use it, craft it, you know? It was a beautiful thing the way she said these stories. She was a smart lady. I'm telling you, she was very smart. She mastered her craft as a correctional officer. She was the right lady or person for the job. You know, she was working in a male prison. She was there for 15 years, if I remember correctly. I know it was over a decade. And she would say, I could get away with things men cannot get away with in prison because I am a female, she would say. And Miss McMurphy, who was black, but she still had some Irish in her. I found that fascinating because she would make a lot of jokes about it. She's really cool, or was, you know. And she would say things like, I could stop rides before they started. I just had to make sure I was observant at what was happening in the lunchroom or the yard or whatever, right? And she would see 2 guys about to get it in, about to fight. And she would say things like, come on, guy, you gonna do this during my shift? I gotta take my kid to soccer practice. If you 2 fight, all hell's gonna break loose here. We're gonna have to lock down this place. And sure, I'll probably get like 8 hours of overtime. But I'm trying to stop my son from coming here and becoming your best friends. Because he's a teenager now. And if I'm not around as a single mother, where do you think he's gonna end up? That's the type of stuff that she would say. She mastered her job. And the guys would be like, all right, McMurphy, maybe later. And she said, maybe never. That'll be even better. Like this lady, she was a G, man. She was a G. And then she shared another story with us. Well, I'll never forget also, where she broke all protocols. She said, I broke every protocol and I got away with it because nothing bad happened afterwards. But if somebody would have said something, she would have lost her job. She's like, this is one of the number one rules as a CEO. You don't touch the inmates. You don't make no physical contact with the inmates unless like you're arresting them or moving them around or putting them in cuffs and stuff like that. That's different, right? But in generally speaking, you don't touch them. She would see a guy about to get it in, another fight story, right? She's been there, done that. She knows what's going to happen. And she would just come towards the guys and she'll use her femininity or superpower. And she'll just do this to both of them. This woman with one touch would tame these tigers. Will stop from a riot happening. Will stop, these guys getting punished from not being able to go outside or lift weights. And they'll be stuck. She stopped so much bad things with just doing this. Because she mastered her craft as a CEO. She understands her position as a female. She didn't escalate, she de-escalated. Now, what I loved about Ms. McMurphy was she was realistic. She said, if this has to go with a fisticuff throwdown situation, I'm 5'3". These guys are much taller than me, and I'm a female in a men's prison. That was like her nightmare, that pretty much happening. So she was like, I know my limitations. When it gets to that type of situation, she let the guys do what guys do. And she will help as best she can. But she understood she can't be there trying to stop one of her teammates from doing what has to be done, from stopping the fight. That's how women can augment, escalate, or de-escalate the situation. And she was a particular exceptional woman in the right place doing the right job. Now, that's not every woman. Not every male can also do every security guard job out there. We just can't. It's already hard enough. The male-on-male social dynamics. And there's a lot of weak males out there as security getting into some problems for no reason. Doing stupid stuff. Now, put that security stupid mentality, no training kind of thing into a female's body. The other day I heard in the UK, there was a news about a female police officer who arrested a little girl for saying, I think she's a lesbian like Nana. Because this UK police officer, she had like a butch haircut. And she used it as discrimination as a reason to arrest this other girl. That's the dumb mentality in a powerful position. And that stuff happens. Luckily, nobody got hurt, as far as I'm aware in that story. But somebody did go to jail, right? And there was an investigation, all that stuff. And that's the kind of things that can happen with women doing security. Now, I do give a pass when it comes to armed security on some level. So for me, the way I see it, my hiring practice, if I was working, if I had to create a security guard team, if I had to train people, I would say, most jobs, women should not be doing that security job. There are exceptions to the rules, so you have to study your position correctly. All right? What are most jobs? I just gave you an example, like CEO, depending on the circumstances. Yeah, you could be a female CEO. Yeah, you could be doing that type of job. You could be doing female, night shift security in a nightclub, because there's a lot of Beckys out there thinking that they can talk crap to male security guards. And the male security guard can't do nothing and won't do nothing. One, they don't want to lose their job. Two, they don't want to end up on a TikTok, viral video. But if you have a Stacy, a Veronica on your team, she'll take care of Becky easily. You know that. Because, that Stacy or Veronica female guard is going to do what the male's guard do to men. Except it's different because it's a female. And it'll be socially acceptable. And that's an example of when you do want females as security. there's certain tasks, certain jobs, certain men can do and certain men cannot do. Same thing goes for women. And we have to acknowledge there's a lot of posts out there that are really hard for men already. There's one story I said in Security Guard News once. This was brought up to me, this story, was when I was getting trained by a veteran from the MTA. So in New York, the MTA used to have their own police force, their own security force before the NYPD came through with a contract. And he told me that, he showed us in our bi-yearly review training, which is 8 hours long in New York. He showed us a video about this woman getting stabbed at a shelter. There was 2 women working night shift at an all-male shelter. One of these women got stabbed multiple times. These 2 women couldn't with this one guy. And he was an old guy, by the way. These were women in their prime, athletically speaking, right? Biologically speaking, it was their prime. And they couldn't handle this old guy. And that's the type of thing you have to be aware. And I'm gonna keep it real with y'all. I know sometimes I want to make jokes and things like that. I keep it lighthearted. However, you have to understand your limitations and the post. That's why you must master the post. And when you're hiring, you have to hire correctly. Now, I am a little bit more lenient with armed security. And that is because at least you have some more training. You have some protective gear on. And, you have force multipliers. You have taser, baton, pepper spray, a firearm. You have bulletproof vest. It does augment your defense slightly. It doesn't make it fair still. It still doesn't make it fair, but it gives you a better fighting chance. Depending on the job, hire a female armed security. Like if you're armed security transporting money or jewelry, precious metals, I think that's fine, hiring a woman, right? Because you're transporting, you're in an armored vehicle. You're protected by a tank, by armor, right? And if somebody gets in, you're already armed to the teeth. You're not supposed to leave the vehicle at all. 9 times out of 10, there are exceptions to every rule when it comes to, doing a job. So there are situations where you could do it as a woman. You could be a field supervisor as a woman, I want to say, but you got to have exceptional experience for that. I just got to be real. Women that do security cannot see themselves as weak, cannot be little flowers. And if you're a flower, you got to be like a rose. You want to look nice, smell nice, and have thorns. You want to sting. So there are certain jobs women can do, there are certain jobs women cannot do in security. And you gotta be careful with that. And that's it and that's that. Let me know by the comment section, am I right, am I wrong? Am I being sexist? Probably am, a little bit. But I'm trying to keep it realistic. I wanna keep people alive, right? I have spoken about Denise, who got beat up by the Army Ranger. I've also spoken about this other black female security guard who was doing a lounge security at a hotel residential building where she was kidnapped by somebody and was burned. This stuff happens, people. It happens. So we have to make sure we understand. We have to make sure that we have realistic expectations when it comes to hiring and working and all that stuff in security. Take care, so love yourself. Leave a comment down below saying thank you, gracias. Let me know if you love me or hate me with the like or dislike button. Subscribe if you haven't, or unsubscribe if you felt this video was too much for you to handle. Peace. Ciao. Lo quiero mucho.